This is Group 10's presentation on what is disability. Peter Dinklage is an American actor who was born with achondroplasia, which is a form of dwarfism. Achondroplasia is a form of dwarfism caused by an abnormality in the bone-producing cells of the growth plates of long bones such as femur and humerus. He began acting at an early age and went on to attend Bennington College in Vermont. Peter made his debut in 1995, thus following his breakout as an actor in 2003. In 2005, Peter married Erica Schmidt, and together they have two children. Peter continues to use this platform to be an outspoken disability advocate. At the bottom of the slide, it's pictured Peter and his wife.
Peter Dinklage has a lot of experience. Post-college, he attempted to start a theater group based off Chicago's Steppenwolf Theater Company. He also performed in an off-Broadway show called Cyrano de Bergerac. He also has a lot of acting experience. His first major role was in Living in Oblivion, which premiered in 1995. His breakout role was in Elf, which premiered in 2003. His most notable role was in The Game of Thrones, which aired from 2011 to 2019. He has also acted in many other films, including X-Men, Days of the Future Past, and most recently, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. He has also won many awards, like Emmys and a Golden Globe for supporting actor in a series. To the right of the text, it is a picture of Peter Dinklage holding an Emmy.
Peter has different perspectives from that of others in his community. He faced criticism for not being outspoken enough about his disability and the dwarfism community. He even quoted himself as saying, "I myself am not always the most politically correct person in terms of my dwarfism. I don't care really. I think that can be damaging as well." He feels he does not want to be only known for his disability and instead chooses to see himself as a person first rather than defined by his disability. He acknowledges the criticism he faces for not being more outspoken about his disability, yet highlights how he does not want to be solely defined by it, and he prioritizes being seen as a person first rather than a representation of his disability, and believes that his work should be able to speak for itself.
Some of Peter's interests are advocating for people who have dwarfism, in with the acting community and not. And he's also an outspoken vegetarian. Dinklage has been a vegetarian since childhood, and he has used his fame as a platform to speak out against animal rights issues. He's very concerned in playing stereotypical roles based on his height and the lack of diversity in Hollywood pertaining to disabilities. He goes on to say that little people are still the butt of the jokes. It's one of the last bastions of acceptable prejudice, not just by people who have had too much to drink in England and want to throw a person, but by the media and everything.
Peter represents his disability identity differently and uniquely rather than others in his groups. He has a positive representation of people who have dwarfism in movies, and he feels it's important to have the positive disability representation in the media, although he refuses to play the normal stereotypical roles, even when money was tight for him. He wants to represent a community of people who have been constantly stereotyped and uses his celebrity status to raise social awareness of dwarfism. His refusal to play these stereotypical roles demonstrates how committed he is to continuing a positive representation for individuals with dwarfism in the media, and he challenges these biases and stereotypes and uses his platform as an opportunity to raise awareness and promote inclusivity.
He was angered by the new Snow White movie because he thought it would reinforce stereotypes about dwarfism, and he spoke up on this by saying, "But you're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me. You're progressing in one way, but you're still making that backward story about seven dwarfs living in a cave together. Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud." And he thinks that a remake will still likely lead to people making Snow White jokes to people who have dwarfism. And in response to this, Disney said that it would consult with the dwarfism community to make sure the new movie isn't offensive. And Disney said to avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, "We're taking a different approach with these seven characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. This statement allows Disney to appear that it is not reinforcing harmful stereotypes about the dwarfism community, and this doing differently than the company did in the past." And to the right of the slide is a picture of Snow White.
Peter represents the social model of disability. The social model of disability focuses on the barriers that society puts in place, hindering inclusion of people with disabilities. Peter Dinklage represents the social model within his work and works as an activist by representing people with dwarfism within the media industry and by speaking out when he sees misinterpretation within the industry. The media industry, especially the movie industry, is not inclusive to this community, and when people with dwarfism are included, they are misrepresented. The following page is of our reference list.